But this is why I say Lydia players are easy to beat. And this is why I keep saying the whole let's go gambling, Lydia stance 50-50 character doesn't make any damn sense. Because at every avenue, there is a way to beat it. At every avenue, there's a way to beat the mix-up. There's always counterplay to it. You can stop her from going in the stance. And even when she does go in the stance, the mix-up itself isn't very good. And trust me, if you know how to play against the character, if you know anti-Lydia, 99% of Lydias are just free wins. And it's not easy to learn. And I don't want to fault or boo-boo anyone for not knowing that. But I think it's important to know because pro players don't know this stuff, right? Even pro players don't know how to fight against Lydia properly. So if you know this stuff and you know all of the anti-Lydia stuff and you practice the things that I tell you, I don't care if you're not God of Destruction. I don't care if you're Tekken King. I don't care if you're Kishin. You will be harder for me to beat than a pro player. That's just the truth. I can tell you that from my own personal experience playing viewer games. If that's the case, then beating a pro player with Lydia will also be a lot easier. Thanks for your advice, you really taught me a lot. I was stressed against peeling. Yeah, and that's fair. Felt like I kept doing the wrong option and couldn't figure out why. Well, and now you know. And it's not that you were doing the wrong options, it's just that you didn't know how to beat it. That's all it is. And that's not a big deal. Not everyone is going to know how to beat every option with every character. Not everyone's going to know all of the counterplay, especially because, one, with Lydia, you have to own the character, but two, the counterplay is unorthodox. You're not used to being able to actually mitigate these mix-ups in Tekken 8. It's very... it's so intuitive, it's unintuitive, because it goes against a lot of the principles of Tekken 8, where her mix-ups and her stances actually have counterplay at every step. So you can't blame anyone. You can't blame yourself for not knowing these things, especially if no one points it out. All right. Down two. I like the down forward one there. I do. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, so like immediately you can see that they're sidestepping, right? So right here, boop, and then sidestep to avoid down forward one. So if he's going to be doing this with Lydia, which is a very common thing to do in this scenario, you can obviously like take other approaches to dealing with this. So, like forward 4 is a good one. Not that. While running 1+2 is another good one that you can do, because like, Lydia's -4 here. So what is she really going to do? And the answer is that there is quite a bit that she can do, but I don't remember what the homing move is here. Oh yeah, this. Like you could do this, for example. This is another one that I'm thinking of, but either way, you get the point, right? You have a lot of options to be able to deal with this, and this is a very common thing that Lydia players will do just because of it being -4. So that's something you can look at in the future. See, yeah, sidestep, good block, then get the low parry. Okay, good. I like you staying on the ground there. That was brilliant. Very good. I like this. Nice. Great block, great punish. Yep, this is -14 on block, not -15. But again, great block. Like your reads on the lows are really good. So you know what you can do out here against Lydia that's actually pretty strong? Like right here. Do that. Because Lydia doesn't have, and then you can back up, because Lydia doesn't have a lot of ways to be able to really do anything out here. So if you do that, then that's good. If you sidestep block at the right time, then that's a good way to be able to get onto this. Sidestep duck is also really nice at being able to avoid stuff like the forward 2. I have no idea why this is tracking as much as it is, but that's another good option, because then you get a punish and you block the low if she runs up and does, whatchamacallit? Down back 3, the homing move, and it's just going to get you out of a lot of these like scenarios where Lydia's approaching you. The other thing that you can do too that's really good at stopping Lydia from being able to just go in for free is, if you know that they're going to come in, do the power crush, do your parry. Any parry move like this, whether it's this or King's Muscle Armor or whatever, is really good at stopping Lydia because there's no counter hit on it. So even if you screw up the timing, she doesn't just get anything for free after. I'm trying to do this wrong. So that's a really strong option whenever you have that, and especially with Zafina, because if you do that and also like he runs in and does down back 3 again, it's not counter hit, and if Lydia's not getting counter hits, then she's just not doing a lot. She relies a lot on counter hits, so that's good. Again, that was nice. That should be the end of the round. Nice. Okay, so here, you can't let Lydia run in like this. You can't let Lydia run in like this. This is how she wins neutral. She doesn't really have anything out here. You have control here. You have control to do stuff like this. It's a similar situation to like Asuka. It's not the same. Like Lydia has more options with the forward too, and she has better keep out and stuff. But it's a similar situation where like if she's out here, she's not doing anything. But if you let her get in, then she's just going to walk all over you up close. So you can't let her get into this position. And that's again where stuff like this comes in handy if you see her approaching. So just making sure you're like playing the positional game, making sure you're like doing stuff to fake her out, to make her second guess herself when going in, and making sure you're not just letting her get control of the neutral is really important. Obviously, I'm screwing it up at this point, but that's the thing that really matters. So yeah, it's particularly like right here, because you notice how she runs up and then you just don't do anything. And why don't you do anything? Well, I'll tell you the reason, and I'm sure you already know the reason, but for anyone else that's watching, the reason is because of this, right? The reason is because of that, or she could just do the forward too. It's the counter hits. And that's why you can't let her get in this position, because it's very scary to deal with. Because her counter hits are so good, and she goes into here and she just wins. Okay, he punished that wrong, that's fine. Oh, another thing too. This move, this is something a lot of people don't know. This move right here, it's minus 12 on block. I don't know what Zafina's 12 frame punish is, but it's minus 12. So make sure you're punishing that. And you can also duck the high too. I wouldn't recommend that because she has the safe mid. But if you have a read and you get a big punish, then yeah. So that's something to keep in mind too. So there you go, plus frames. Good. Trying to stuff her out of that. And then jab. So again, you have to be careful of this jab because notice how he's been doing the down 4 a lot, right? So he's been doing this and then, oop. Wow, that actually tracks. Step in the foreground. Just in a hypothetical scenario. Just to demonstrate why you have to be careful about this against Lydia specifically. Because like I was saying, like what's the reason why we were scared to do anything before? It's because of the heat engager, and look where we're at after the political storm, after sidestep. So you gotta be really careful with jab when they're sidestepping after down 2 like that. So yeah, then forward 2 into this. So here's how you beat this normally. Normally what you do is sidestep right duck, but obviously that gives you political storm. That gives you a heat engager now. So the way that you beat that is you just jab. I'm not even doing the right combo because I'm hitting 3+4 too early, but you get the point. Yeah, and then here. So after this situation, after we've gone back to the neutral, she whiffs, and then we can try floating her. We can try floating her. We can try punishing her. And we do try doing that. We're just a little bit late. Yeah, we tried running up and jabbing. And then here we go. Whiffs. I like the grab attempt. It makes sense. And then here. So we delay it. This is something that you see commonly from a lot of high-level Lydia plays is delay. You can still parry this. Again, this is why Zafina's parry is so good. He's waiting to see if you're going to do anything and then beat it. But if he's going delay like this, look, you can sidestep this. Boop. Like that. You can do this. You have a lot of options to be able to stop this. And here's another neat thing too. After after, while running one here, if they go into heaven and earth, you can just armor through the mid even if they do it with immediate timing. So if you don't want to do specifically the parry, but you just want to attack, then you can do that as well. So you have a couple of options here. And again, if they delay it, then you get, I don't know why I'm not getting heat burst. You can sidestep. Now, the thing is that's scary with sidestep is that the Power Crush launcher and the unblockable both are homing. So it doesn't matter how much you sidestep or sidewalk, they will track you. But that's important to keep in mind too. And then I guess one other thing too, if they delay this, you can just grab them. Now, this isn't something I would normally recommend. I would recommend just doing the Power Crush mainly. But if they do the while running one here, they're going into this at +6. So if they do this, it's 18 frames. It trades with grab. If they delay it by even a frame, it's not going to work. The unblockable is 16. So again, if they delay it by more than 2 frames, then grab is going to beat it. Now, it's not like a perfect solution, but those are options that you can do if you're doing this a lot. Didn't know you could Power Crush or have an Earth mix-up. Yeah, so you can Power Crush, and this is how you beat it, actually. This is the counterplay to while running one, is that you do Power Crush. That's it. Because Power Crush will beat the 1 and 2. The things it won't beat are the unblockable, which who cares? Her unblockable is really bad. Like, if you understand like how the matchup works and how the ground game works and everything, the unblockable isn't scary. If I'm playing against Lydia in a mirror and they hit me with unblockable, as long as it doesn't kill me, I'm happy about that because it stops her from being able to continue with pressure. So the unblockable hitting you doesn't really matter. And then the only thing besides that is the Heaven and Earth parry, or what she can do instead is, if I can get this right, is this into something like forward forward 2. Because you have to commit to the Power Crush. You can't react to the stance transition. And if you commit to the Power Crush, then she just hits you out of it with forward forward 2 and then you get launched, right? Because then she can do like, she has just enough heat to be able to do this. Oh, not quite enough actually. But she has just enough to be able to do this into like Heaven and Earth again. Maybe not. Maybe she just doesn't quite have enough. But yeah, anyway, you get the point. Nice break on the throw. I like that. Going for the low lows. Good counter hit. That was really nice. It's getting all the way to the corner. Oh, that's so unlucky. It's so unlucky. Yeah, because I mean, if you were just a couple of frames early, you would have had it. So like, I mean, there's nothing to critique here, right? There's nothing to talk about. You did the right option. And honestly, if you were offline, like this is how I always think about it in situations like this. If you were offline, you would have won. So even if you lose the round, you lose the game, you made the right choice. So again, how are we approaching a neutral situation, right? Trying the zone makes sense. Just waiting it out and then the 1-2. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you tried approaching that situation well. It's just, you know, that was Tekken fundamentals at work there. Second hit of this is -13. It's a counter hit launcher, so nice sidestep, nice launch punish. And get the full combo here. Nice, going for Oki, plus frames, just trying to keep them. I like the sidestepping for the positioning too. Like everything you're doing about this is really good. So yeah, like the only reason you got hit here is because you were doing a lot of highs, right? That's the point. So, what you could be doing instead is, of course, like more down forward ones because that'll catch her out. And then, wow, that doesn't walls blind. Well, that's so sad. But that's the reason why she's doing this, right? So, yeah, I'm not going to claim I know how to play Zafina because I don't. But that's something you gotta be careful of with down 2, you know? That's something you gotta be really careful of. And then another thing is too, how do you beat down 2 if you know that they're going to do it? Obviously there's low parry, but the way that you beat this is actually sidestep to Zafina's, or not Zafina's, Lydia's strong side. It's weak to sidestep left. Although for some reason it's actually not working yet. There you go. Sidewalking, it works. It doesn't even combo. All right, I don't know what combo I'm doing. But yeah. So obviously you don't want to do it in that scenario because you don't want to lose the wall and you'd rather just low parry it, but that just gives you an idea. So here, you can't do anything, she's plus 10. The only characters that can do anything about the mix-up here are characters with 3-frame parries. Now, I don't know why he delayed it here, because with him delaying it, that means you can power crush through it. But generally, you just gotta eat it. And it's not a big deal. I mean, you're taking the chip damage, but she doesn't have heat anymore, and you still have access to heat. So it's like, yeah, she's plus 6, but you sidestep a little bit, you move around, and it's like, that's so funny. And it's not really a big deal to block it. When it's a big deal is when she's still in heat and is able to do all of that chip damage. So if you just wait, then it's fine. And again, like, I want to demonstrate this part too. We'll go, oops, we're in the combo right now. If we do the unblockable, like, what's scary about this situation? Genuinely, like, what's scary? Because look, now, like, you can work yourself out of this situation. This is why I say that the unblockable is bad, because it's like, if you just tech roll immediately and you get out of it, like, yeah, your back's to the wall, but what's Lydia realistically going to do without any heat? You know, that's why you don't have to be scared of this, because like, you take the 50 damage because it's counter hit, otherwise it'd be 41 because she has 3 stacks. And then it's like, what is she gonna do? Run up, down, back 3? It's not a big deal. And if you stay on the ground, she runs up to you and you just toe kick her, then it's like neutral's reset, she doesn't have heat and it's fine. So just take it. You know, if you block the mid, it's not that scary. Like, yeah, she gets more pressure, but eventually it's going to stop, and she's not gonna be able to do a whole lot with her unless she's a really good Lydia player and makes a lot of really good reasoned decisions and puts herself at a lot of risk. And if she does the unblockable, who cares? Who cares? It's like the situation's done. It's over. It's not a big deal. Because she loses out on her ability to continue to pressure after that. And look, here's another thing too. This tells me, no offense against Peeling, but the fact that he's doing a combo like this tells me he just doesn't know like the wall game. Because what you should be doing with Lydia is going here and not, oh, I have controlled the wrong character, and not breaking the wall, but instead doing this. Because now look at the situation, right? So you can look at a thing like this, like what he's doing here. Look, now you have to deal with the wall. You have a pixel of health. There's just no reason to do the combo ender and break the wall. You should be preserving it. And that should tell you that when it comes to the Heaven and Earth situation with the unblockable, he's not going to be able to do something that's very scary as long as you're calm about it. So yeah, here's another thing too after the forward 2 to demonstrate the option select here. Oh. What? What? Zafina can't what? What? Zafina can't sidestep this? What? Zafina can't sidestep Heaven and Earth 2, or not Heaven and Earth Horse 2? What? Well, that's pretty good for the matchup. Holy shit. Maybe she can sidewalk? No, she can't. You can't avoid this. Is Zafina's step that bad? Apparently, every other character in the game can sidestep this. Okay, never mind. You can't option select Horse Stance with Zafina. Her sidestep is as bad as Bears and Jack. Wow, that's insane. Yeah, I mean, you saw the pop-up, but this is -10. Learn something new every day. This is going in my anti-Zafina strategy guide. That's insane. It's actually huge for the matchup. Plus frames like that, that's good. And then, like, I want you to look at this situation right now from your perspective. I want you to look at this situation from your perspective. And then understand that with the Heaven and Earth 1+2, with the unblockable, this is the situation that Lydia is in when this lands. So you notice how if you just play a good ground game and you're smart about it, that nothing's going to happen afterwards. Like the momentum's just gone, the pressure's gone. And if you play a good ground game, then something like this happens. and then like all of the momentum, all of the pressure, all of the damage you have is just gone. And that's why the unblockable is bad. And that's why after a heat smash situation like what we showed before, it's fine to just eat the mix-up. It's fine to eat the unblockable, because a lot of the time, if you know how to play against Lydia well, this is the situation that happens. Just obviously this is in the reverse orbit. This is what happens. Lydia just like loses control of the neutral because she has to fight to get it back again. And you saw that you had the knockdown situation, you had the Oki, and he just played a good ground game. He woke up, did the 2-2, and then that was it. So when it comes to you as well, so not just talking about the mix-up, but I thought that was a good demonstration of like why the unblock, like the mix-up you don't have to engage with, because it just doesn't matter. But when it comes to here, like all this offense is really good. Doing this is really good. And then it's just like, you know, again, it's like the ground game and we try going for that. So like what I would do personally is I would probably just do this and then just accept the fact that, you know, like neutral is probably like, he might take it back. It's fine. Is it really worth the risk of getting this plus frame move if he wakes up, if we're going to die for it, right? And I don't think it is. So I think that doing something like this makes sense, because then if we get something like this, then he dies. Because we have the heat dash, and we're not gonna get many opportunities to be able to do this safely anymore. We're just not. So looking at it in hindsight, that's something I would think of. You mean Zafina just has to take horse 2 no matter what? Apparently, yeah. You just drop that anti-Zafina strategy guy low-key. Yeah, sorry, love. I'm actually coaching all Lydia players now, not you. Yeah, and then again, I understand the point of doing this is to try punishing a wake-up kick, but it's just the risk, right? Because now we're in a one-touch situation and then death. So let's go back here. Is down 1 really a 12 frame move? I don't think it is, right? Oh, it is. Wow. Okay. Go back 1 here. Try 12 frame counter hit. -12 gets the punish. Goes for the 1 here. Okay, so here's another thing too, and hopefully this actually works. This is the ultimate anti-Lydia. Check this out. You can sidestep the mid. Yeah, you can sidestep the mid. And on top of that too, this is another reason why Zafina's parry is so good. The reason why this is so good is because the 4 is -14, but the point of it is the counter hit launcher. So if you do, well, if the Lydia does 1-2-2 and you do power crush to try beating the mid, she does the low for the launcher. But because your power crush isn't an actual attack, she doesn't get the counter hit off of it, which makes it so much stronger in this scenario. It's so good. So let's move on to. And also, if you're sidewalking here, that also avoids the 4. That can also avoid the 4. Now, it's character dependent, but it can also avoid the 4. So you don't have to eat this mix-up. And if you're doing that, then Lydia's option to be able to beat that is mainly the 3. That's how she does it, and then that's the heat engager. But if she's not doing that, then you can just sidestep it. And she obviously has to put herself at risk doing the 3 because it's a high. And if she does that and you duck, then you launch her. If you duck and she does the 4, then you punish her with 14 frame move. And what's the mid doing? What is the mid doing? You know? Knockdown. That's it. And then it's just like she runs it and then she does this, and then that's it. It's not scary. So there's a lot of counterplay to this stance, even if it doesn't feel like it, even after the punish. All of the options out of stance you can beat. Every single one has counterplay to it. You have multiple ways to beat the mids. You can obviously duck the highs, and then the low you just block it. And And again, like, because you're Zafina, you put yourself at no risk doing the power crush parry move because you can't get counter hit after it. Now, the 3 is still obviously going to hit you, but that's fine. That's fine. It's not great. It could snowball, but if you're able to beat like the 1 here, and then you snowball of that, you almost win the round from there. The amount of times someone ducked my 1 and I got punished for it is insane. If I can sidestep after my 1, that's great. Like after jab, if you mean like after the 1-2-2, you can't sidestep after that because you have to cancel stance and then you're effectively minus with your punish. But if you, if you jab, then yeah. But yeah, this is one of the problems too with 1-2-2 forcing in the stance. This is one of the few cases where I'd say that being able to not go in the stance will be very beneficial because the mix-up is just so bad. As long as you know the option select and how to beat it. Well, I shouldn't say option select, but how to beat every option. It's not like, say, we can just look at Zafina. It's not like Zafina where she has, well, no, Zafina doesn't even have, Zafina's options are actually pretty similar. Leroy's probably a better example. What he does like is 10 frame punish and you just can't escape some of his moves. You have to eat them. It's not like that. Greetings, travelers. Hi, Allegan. Greetings. So yeah, this was good. Doing the 13 frame move. Now, one thing you have to be careful about too here is that it's going to be hard to do this because of how the replay works. But if I do a 1 frame link here with forward forward 2, that beats your 13 frame move. And then you lose. So you, like, again, with Peeling, I don't, like, based on how Peeling's been playing, again, no offense to him, he's not a Lydia main, right? So he's not going to be doing these 1 frame links. So you're fine here. But if you play against a really strong Lydia player that does do that, this is extremely risky for you to do. Especially with your back being to the wall like this. So that's something you gotta be mindful of. But doing this as a poke and disrespecting the plus frames is really smart, because if the Lydia player can't do these 1 frame links, the only thing that she can do to stop this, 2-4, like, what does that even do? And if she does 2-2, again, like, you can duck it, you can punch it, and doesn't even wall spy. So, like, what does this even do? Like, oh yeah, she's +4, crazy. You just block, and then, like, what is she gonna do after that? So, that's something to just be mindful of. And I'm only explaining this to you because I know you're a high-level player. I know that you're God of Destruction. So that's something I think that you should keep in mind when playing against some higher-level players. Like if you ever play against Exo, for example. In fact, Exo doesn't even do that. I might be the only one that really prioritizes that. But it's still something to keep in the back of your mind when doing those. Just poke with 1. They duck and I get wrecked. Well, that's when you do back 1. If they duck, then you just do the heat engager. Boop, boop, boop. Go here. Gonna get the full thing. Do. Yeah, that doesn't work. Good tech, by the way. Good tech. So, all the round ended. Okay. Not what I was going to say, but that's a situation where the unblockable is actually scary because it kills you. Right? So if the unblockable doesn't kill you or put you in a position where it's going to kill you, then it's not scary. If the unblockable is going to kill you, then it's scary, right? Of course. But what's important to point out here too is that what he did here isn't real. And you can beat it. So, and this is one of the things that people say about Lydia, where she's the 50-50 casino character. Let's go gambling. There are ways to mitigate that. And this is how you do it. And again, in this position, you know what I do? I do this. And now she doesn't have heat. The health isn't even. She has about double the health. But you are in heat. And what are her stacks going to do now? Nothing. What is she going to do? Nothing. She can't do anything. You've won the neutral game from this position. You have a huge advantage. Despite the difference in health, all it takes is 1 good poke, 1 good momentum shift, and she's done. She's dead. And that's how you beat it. So yeah, That's what you gotta look out for. And there is a way for him to be able to beat this too. The way that you beat grab here is either the 2 into heat dash or the 1. And then you can do the same thing. But then even if you get hit by the 1, even if you get hit by the 1, you can grab. If you get hit by the 4 to 4 2 and you have a read that she's gonna go in the stance, you can grab her. So there are always ways to be able to mitigate this. Even if you don't sidestep the 4 to 4 2 initially when she does it. If she goes in the horse, whether it hits you or it gets blocked, you can grab her out of it. There is counterplay. You don't always have to eat the mix-up. And there's counterplay to the counterplay. That's a part of the interaction. But that's how you beat this. That's how you don't get put in this situation. You don't have to deal with the unblockable. Because we can talk about, yeah, I mean, you get put in the mix-up situation, and then, like, she does this, and you can duck under the unblockable, and then go from there, and it's the same thing. But if you just grab her, then it's like, you basically won at that point anyway. Because she's lost her heat, she's lost the momentum, she's lost the neutral, you're in heat. She has double the health than you do, but you have rage. Like, you can extend your combos with rage, and then, like, he has to do a lot to be able to win from that position. So there were a lot of things there. I mean, I think fundamentally how you were playing, there wasn't a lot to talk about. There wasn't a lot to critique. I think that just the only thing I'd say is like the ground game and how you were reacting to them on the ground and all of that. But like besides that, there wasn't much to talk about, and it was a lot of just like Lydia specific matchup stuff. And I think if you knew those things, like you knew to sidestep after the 1-2-2, you knew how to grab her out of heaven and earth, you knew not to worry about the unblockable because the unblockable is bad and doesn't do anything, then yeah, you could have won. I mean, at the end of the day, again, nothing against Peeling, but Peeling isn't like a Lydia player, you know? He's playing a very standard Lydia, and standard Lydias are easy to beat if you know the gimmicks and you know the counterplay, because Lydia doesn't play like a lot of Tekken 8 characters where you just like punish and go in the stance and there's no counterplay. There's always counterplay to what they're doing. There's always counterplay to whatever Lydia is doing. There are always ways to mitigate the mix-up, stop her from being able to go into there. And at the end of the day, too, the mix-ups that she does isn't scary, and they rely on you being scared. They rely on you hitting a button. They rely on you ducking or doing something to facilitate her game plan. And standard Lydia players, if you are just calm and collected and know how to deal with it, aren't going to be able to open you up. You have to be creative, and you have to do a lot of weird things and unorthodox things with Lydia to be able to open up a player like that. And if you just play a bog standard Lydia where you just go into the stances and do the mix-ups like what Peeling was doing, very easy to beat that as long as you know all of those situations. Again, I'm not saying anything is Peeling. I'm not trying to be a dick to him or anything. That's just how it is. And that's how it is from my own experience, too. Like, if I play against a Lydia like Peeling's, then I can't remember the last time, actually, that I lost in a mirror match against a Lydia, at least in the set. Just because standard Lydias are very easy to beat. But there's a lot of prerequisites to that. It's understanding the counterplay, understanding how to beat all of those things, and being able to apply that in a real match. And that stuff's hard. But a lot of people just don't know how that works in the first place, and that's why it's like, oh, a casino character. So I hope that that's given you some ideas on like the counterplay and how to deal with all of that stuff. The characters who can't stop horse 2 after 4-4-2 are Clive, Heihachi, Eddie, Zafina, Victor, Raven, Paul, Yoshi, Jack, King, Laz, Fung, Drag, and Brian. That is a dumb list. So Zafina is the only female character that can't sidestep horse 2, even if you include Panda. That's so stupid. Yeah, I mean, down 4-2 is fine. It makes sense. And see, here again, this is what I'm talking about, right? I grabbed. I knew that he was going to go in the stance here. But right here, look, even on hit, boop, grab. That's how you beat it. There's always counterplay. And then here you just take it. Yeah, and then I like the sidestep there. I like being like, yeah, we can just sidestep. Because I'll tell you what. Now, on one hand, you're sidestepping to the wrong side. But I'll tell you what. If she does like forward 2, that can beat it if he doesn't have the right timing. Now, if he hits this on a 1-frame link, if I can do it, which is a little bit difficult. Oh, wait, no, you're sidewalking. Yeah, never mind. If he does down 4-2, I should say, then that will beat it. Obviously, this will as well, although that doesn't even wall spy anymore, which is hilarious. But yeah, I mean, sidewalking here makes a lot of sense. Now, generally, again, because of like the down forward 2 and stuff, you want to sidestep right. But this works. And then the back one realigned. Yeah. I've been getting a little better at the manual parry for high punches. Neat. Yeah, and then not just letting him get away with that when it's -1. Again, that's good. Yep, there you go. I did the exact same thing as you there. I did the parry. That was perfect. That was brilliant. And again, you know what I would have done here instead? I would have done, after this, I would have done this. I would have done heat burst. Because now it's like, if he tries approaching, look, you just kill him, you know? That's personally what I would have done. That's kind of my play style. Yeah, and again, like, same thing. Right now you see it. You see how he's just doing this, and this is why I say, like, he's a pretty standard kind of Lydia player, because it's just like forward 2 into the mix-up, because no one knows how to deal with it. Even at, like, pro level, like, no one knows that you can just grab this. And you see how much that smothers you with pressure, right? And then he tries doing that. I don't know why he does the micro dash here, because you don't... Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. But you see how much, like, he gets off of that, off of just being able to do the heaven and earth stuff. So that's why you got to make sure you're grabbing him out of that. Boop, boop. Yeah, and then again, like... Again, this is why I'm talking about more with, like, him playing a standard Lydia, right? Because here, again, sidestep, launch, parry, right? Stuff like that. Down 2. You know, another thing I didn't talk about with Zafina, too, is because she has her power crush parry. So, yeah, here, I mean, here's another instance of it, right? This is -12 on block. When she's in heat, she goes in the stance faster, but again... So you can't duck this because it's -12. So it's like if they go into heaven and earth, then it's a punish. If they don't, then they have to break it. And also, you can duck the second hit. But if she does forward 2, you could just do the parry. You could just do Zafina's parry to be every option except the low, but the low won't counter hit launch. So it's very safe. Yep, 1+2. And see, this is a great demonstration of this. Because look, if I do this, who cares? You know? Like, it's still -1. So you get your turn back after this. And this beats every option. And you see how he's sidestepping again after this, like he did with down 2. Oop. Can still do while rising 4, though. That was nice. Yep, there's the down 2 again. Doesn't go for the heat dash. I like this. And then again, see the same thing. Notice how whenever he's in heaven and earth, he always does this, so you could just grab him. Casino gameplay. Let's go gambling. Oh, no. Casino's locked you out. You're not allowed to go gambling. That was just unfortunate. Yeah, and also something I should point out, too, is this is only after the sidestepping thing that I'm talking about is only after 1-2-2 or while rising 4-2. Her 10-frame standing punish and 11-frame while rising punish. If she does this one, then she doesn't get it. But again, like, another thing to point out, too, is if we just block this here because it's not an actual punish, this is punishable. Right? And this, again, is kind of what I'm talking about when I'm saying, like, standard Lydia player. Because a lot of Lydia players, even a God of Destruction, just throw this move out for no reason because no one punishes it. I see this even at pro level where Lydia players will just throw out 2-2 because no one punishes it. Even if you stand block it, it's -12. Yeah. I hope now that those things have been pointed out that you see them a bit more. Because even in this game, like, he's doing the same thing. And this is why... Lydia players like this. Again, I'm trying to emphasize, no offense. I'm speaking in general about Lydia, not about P-Lane specifically. But this is why I say Lydia players are easy to beat. And this is why I keep saying the whole let's go gambling, Lydia stance 50-50 character doesn't make any damn sense. Because at every avenue, there is a way to beat it. At every avenue, there's a way to beat the mix-up. There's always counterplay to it. You can stop her from going in the stance. And even when she does go in the stance, the mix-up itself isn't very good. And I hope I've been able to demonstrate that and help you more with like the anti-Lydia stuff. And trust me, if you know how to play against the character, if you know anti-Lydia, 99% of Lydias are just free wins. They're just free wins. Now, of course, because this is peeling, I'm sure that he'd adjust how he plays if you know that stuff, because it's peeling. But the way he's playing now is very easy to beat if you just know the matchup and you know all of these things. So yeah, it's like, and it's not easy to learn, and I don't want to fault or boo-boo anyone for not knowing that, but I think it's important to know because pro players don't know this stuff, right? Even pro players don't know how to fight against Lydia properly. So if you know this stuff and you know all of the anti-Lydia stuff and you practice the things I tell you, I don't care if you're not God of Destruction. I don't care if you're Tekken King. I don't care if you're Kishin. You will be harder for me to beat than a pro player. That's just the truth. I can tell you that from my own personal experience on playing viewer games. If that's the case, then beating a pro player with Lydia will also be a lot easier. Thanks for your advice, really taught me a lot. I was stressed against peeling. Yeah, and that's fair. Felt like I kept doing the wrong option and couldn't figure out why. Well, and now you know. And it's not that you were doing the wrong options. It's just that you didn't know how to beat it. That's all it is. And that's not a big deal. Not everyone is going to know how to beat every option with every character. Not everyone's going to know all of the counterplay, especially because, one, with Lydia, you have to own the character, but two, the counterplay is unorthodox. You're not used to being able to actually mitigate these mix-ups in Tekken 8. It's very... it's so intuitive, it's unintuitive, because it goes against a lot of the principles of Tekken 8, where her mix-ups and her stances actually have counterplay at every step. So you can't blame anyone. You can't blame yourself for not knowing these things, especially if no one points it out. And especially if pro players don't know about all of this stuff. And that's why I'm here, to tell you how to beat every Lydia player in ranked.